Welcome to day one of our fast. Okay, so this is a common question that I get, and I'm going to share something with you that I think is going to be very helpful as you navigate your own DIY fast. Okay, so the question is, why the heck, if I've got a weight loss goal in mind, why would I be eating high fat foods even during my fast? And the reason why is because when we get into a fast, we are going through a metabolic shift. Typically, we run on glucose energy, sugar energy. Typically, that comes from carbohydrates. In a fasted state, we're burning through that glucose and we're now going to burn fat for energy. Yes. So the fat, especially the visceral fat, which is typically concentrated in the midsection around our organs, sometimes inside of the organs. And that is going to be filtered through our liver. It's going to create ketone bodies. The ketone bodies will spread throughout the system. And that's what we are going to be running off of instead of the glucose energy. So during a fast, when we're eating this high fat food, it's going to put us into that fasted state. That's kind of the magic of the fasting mimicking diet by Valter Longo. And he is a brilliant scientist. And in this book, on page 114, he details out how you can do your own DIY fast. He kind of gives you some parameters. So we have a brand new fasting menu called Sophia's Special. And I'll tell you a little bit about how I came up with this menu, but Sophia has asked me to put together a menu for her, and I am so grateful for that because it is brilliant and I am in love with it. So on this menu, for instance, I'm going to use a very specific example. We've got almonds, and a lot of the times I find, with the fasting stuff, like people kind of think that they have to buy special stuff. This is very basic stuff, basic nuts. So we've got some raw almonds, and that's the only thing you have to make sure of. You have to make sure that they are raw, that they're not like, deep fried and spiced up and cooked and all the things. We have just regular walnuts, the halves, the pieces, organic or not. And then we've got some cashews, very regular cashews. Now the cashews typically do come roasted. That's not what we want. We want raw cashews during our fast. So on our Sophia's menu, on day one, we've got 16 grams of almonds. We split it up for our morning snack and our afternoon snack. Now, lots of people have been asking me, I don't like almonds. Can I do cashews or can I do walnuts? So in this example, I'm looking at total calories of those 16 grams. We're also going to look at the protein, the carbs, and the fat, because the fasting mimicking diet is a very specific breakdown of our macronutrients as well as total calories. So when and as you are making your own substitutions for your own DIY menu, let's say you're like, okay, this is almonds, 93 calories for 16 grams. These are the numbers for 16 grams of each of these types of nuts. So 93 calories for almonds, 3.4 grams of protein for almonds, 3.2 grams of carbs, and 8.2 grams of fat. Now, these numbers in our Sophia's menu are the ones that I have calculated to be exact for the FMD breakdown. So as you are making your substitutions using one of our menus as like a baseline, I'm going to show you how to do that and how to think of things and take different things into consideration. So on day one, I should have also written, this is day one. That's very important because day one's numbers are different from days 2 to 5. So day one, we are going up to 1,100 calories. Like, do not exceed 1,100 calories. This is regardless of whether you are a man, a woman, or anything. So 93 calories. When we look at cashews, it's about the same. I'm not concerned about that difference. Walnuts, though, 16 grams of walnuts is, a bit of a difference, but I'm also not going to fret about, what is that, 16 calories difference. Like, it's a lot, but our DIY menu hovers closer to 1,000 calories on day one. So we've got some wiggle room there. So no need to worry about the calories. Check. So protein, on the FMD, we want to keep protein really low. Generally, if we're eating too much protein, Valter Longo will say that can trigger pro-aging pathways. And part of the beauty of his fast is that we are going to slow down our aging, or we're just not going to age as quickly as we normally would. All right, so protein must be kept down in his fast. That is a key difference between the fasting mimicking diet and other types of, let's say, keto diets where you're in ketosis for a really long time. Those are very high protein, especially the meat-based ones, high protein diets. FMD, low protein. So again, these are the numbers where it is calculated exactly in accordance to Valter Longo's FMD. So 3.4 grams is something that we do not want to exceed. The protein number is important that we keep down. If you sub with cashews, you'll see you're under for protein. And so that's okay. I wouldn't say that you have to adjust your 16 grams of cashews. For your, let's just stick with cashews for now. For your carbs, though, you'll notice that 3.2 grams is what's exact on the menu. But if you sub cashews, all of a sudden, you've got way more carbs. And on the diet, we do not want to push carbs too high. So my numbers, again, are exact. And so this is a big enough difference for me that I would recommend lower the number of cashews that you're having. So instead of 16 grams, you're going to use something like a chronometer.com, free to use, and you're going to punch in 15 grams. And I will tell you, it doesn't lower the carbs that much. So maybe you're going to do, you're just going to keep going down 14 grams, 13 grams, 12 grams, until you are much closer to the 3.2 gram mark. I'm not saying you have to get exactly 3.2, but I mean, if you're going to use cashews moving forward, then try to get the number as close to 3.2. It is going to skew your total calories and the other macros, but probably not by much. Calories will definitely go down, but that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to eat 1,100 calories. It's just we do not want to exceed 1,100 calories. All right, so this is definitely problematic, and we want to get that down. And then 1.7 grams. Wait, no, we're sticking to cashews first. So 6.2 grams of fat compared to 8.2. It's lower in fat. We do want to stay high fat. However, it's only 2 grams. I'm not going to worry about that. So if you are going to sub cashews for the almonds in our Sophia's special menu that's linked in the description, then you are going to want to lower this. I would probably guess that instead of 16 grams of cashews, this is going to look more like 9 grams. All right. So we'll just say like around 9 grams of cashews is going to get you closer to these numbers, or it's not going to be exact, but this is why it can become very tedious developing your own menu, but it's not impossible. It's not that hard. It's just, it can sometimes be time consuming. All right. So that makes sense, right? So let's look at walnuts, because walnuts, more calories compared to the almonds, but again, not by much. So I'm not going to fret about that. The protein is lower than 3.4. So that's actually a good thing. We want to stay low protein, very specific for Valter Longo's fast. So I'm going to give that a check. That's all right. Carbs, very different story compared to cashews. Isn't that interesting? So because we're under, I'm not going to fret about that either. So I'm going to say check. And then fat, yeah, this is higher than 8.2, obviously. So, not so, but because in this fast, I want to stay low protein. I do not want to exceed the carbs, because as soon as we start pushing our carbs up, we are going to start pushing ourselves out of a true fasted state. So that's why I really do not want to exceed the carb allocation per day. But from a fat perspective, because we are burning fat this week for 5 days, I am going to be okay with this a little bit extra grams of fat if you wanted to eat the walnuts, especially since these numbers look good. Now, on the menu, you can look at other high fat food items. So on day one, there's things like avocado. What else is there? I don't think there are olives on day one, but there's avocado. So you might want to shave off a little bit on the avocado. So that is how I would do it. Lower the number of cashews. Walnuts, you can stay at 16 grams and you'll still be fine. So that's our quick and dirty lesson. I hope that that was helpful, and you can do this with any food item on your DIY menu. Now, it is a DIY menu, so I'm not going to pretend that the benefits are exactly the same as doing the official Prolon kit. That is something that I hear a lot in terms of people just saying, I don't want to eat a bunch of that packaged stuff. And so that's why they look for a fresh food version, which I totally understand and I commend. But I will say that the Prolon kit, and this is not sponsored, by the way, that is the thing that has been scientifically tested. And that's where all of those amazing results that we learn about in terms of the fasting mimicking diet, it's related to the official Prolon kit. Do I think that you're going to gain a lot of benefits from doing a DIY version? Absolutely, because I have seen it and I have experienced it myself. I run fasting programs and I hear specific changes that are happening and they blow my mind every single time. So I just want to make that clarification that I do not poo-poo the official Prolon kit. Of course not. And if unfortunately you are quite sick with something serious and that's why you're looking into the fasting protocol or the FMD, then my high recommendation is to go with the official kit. You might feel a little bit of sticker shock, but in the grand scheme of things, it is nothing. It is a happy investment to make in terms of the benefits that you might get out of it. All right. So hope that was helpful. Don't be afraid of using Chronometer. It's awesome. It's fun. And you'll learn so much about food. Like, who knew that cashews had so many more carbs compared to almonds and walnuts? I will say the L Nutri-Team, the company that makes Prolon, they call almonds the longevity nut. So they're big almond fans. But I am a big believer in the power of all whole plant foods. They all contain thousands of phytonutrients that are upregulating all of the macronutrients and the micronutrients in the food. Tons of nutrients, essentially. So go nuts, use what you personally love and enjoy, and that's the best thing you can do. All right. So happy fasting. I'll see you next time.